The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss! The incredible turnaround by the New York Mets has taken them to their first.
I was wrong. Get into it.
He helped this team get to the playoffs. He gave up the base of one, so there's second Schwarber, the 1-1 pitch. Down the right field line, foul, and it's 1-2. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss! The incredible turnaround by the New York Mets' first National League Championship Series in 9 years.
Welcome back to Touching Bases Podcast. Good to see your beautiful smiling faces. The Mets, they have that purple power, that pumpkin pumping, snubbing, the Metropalooza, the Lion King, but not so lion now, but still beast stuff, if you ask me.
Got him. Lead. Get 2-2. Is waved on and mixed.
The New York Mets have sustained the relentless run of perseverance and heat. The team has fought and won a wild card, as predicted. They knocked the number one team in the Central out, not predicted. And after a week of rest and prep from the best team in the East, they caught them sleeping and sent the Phillies packing for the winner, which is completely rewriting my entire board. I'm in. This team has bounced back from having probably one of the worst seasons, which we would put on par with the Chicago White Sox. They turned it around and they haven't let up. And now that they've been in the playoffs, they aren't showing much sign of giving up. Like, they're not finding that slump that they find in the playoffs where star players are not doing as well. And we'll kind of get into that. Aside from the Tigers, who are fighting tooth and nail to score, honestly, with the help of their pitching, it's the only reason why they're up 2-1 when it comes to Cleveland. The Mets are not falling on their face at all. They're averaging 5 runs per game, while next best team is the Padres. And honestly, they would be doing better if they didn't fall flat on their face and score 0 runs against the Dodgers the last game. Well, today is the game. We have the Dodgers playing the Padres, and swear to God, I am hoping that the Padres win. But right now, it seems like the Mets are the World Series favorites. I mean, they are unstoppable with their offense. They come from behind when you least expect it, and their pitching is still dominating, even if they give up a few runs. It wasn't until September when the Mets were even thought of for the postseason. We were talking D-backs and Braves, Padres, Dodgers, but even if you go to the East, you weren't really looking at the Mets, especially this season. Well, I have new predictions for 2024 World Series, and I'm going to correct my mistakes. The Royals, I was honestly going to give you a feedback and say, hey, the Royals are probably going to win. They're going to beat the Yankees because they're at home, and they are the team with the best record at home in Kauffman Stadium. I was wrong. I watched that game last night because I wasn't exactly sure what the outcome was going to be. Now you know. The Yankees going to ALCS, and it only took 3 games. Tigers are probably going to take Cleveland. This is just my prediction moving forward for the ALCS. The Guardians' bats are asleep. I don't know what's going on. They're not scoring. And I'm not going to say that the Tigers are doing any better at this point, but they are pulling off wins. They are waking up enough to win. And given that the Guardians are doing so bad, if they can, they're going to need at least 4 runs in the next couple games, or they're done. Because the Tigers are at home, and they have shown that they can put up 4 runs consistently. The Padres are do or die tonight. And with the Padres going back to LA, I'm not sure who's going to win. I mean, last night we saw an 8-0 victory by LA in San Diego, but yet we also saw a just insane amount of offense from the Padres in LA. So it seems like both teams do well in each other's parks, and it's going to come down to pitching. But I would say for the Dodgers, try to get everybody on, and that would be your way to beat the Padres. That's kind of my stance on this, because Shohei is not hot. Although he is sporadic, he has a lot of potential. If you can find a pitch, he'll crack it. But he's 2 for 11 in the last 2 games. He's 4 for 16 in this entire series. And that's not something you want to rely on. Mookie's starting to wake up. So you know what? Pay attention to Gavin Lux. Pay attention to Mookie Betts. Freddie Freeman, I don't know if he's even going to play because of that ankle. But if you have his bat, maybe he's a DH, throw him out there. Like, rely on the other bats besides Ohtani. If the Padres can throw out a pitching staff that can shut down everyone and literally only give hits to Ohtani because he seems to be struggling, or they just go after Ohtani but they're able to shut down the rest of the lineup, they're gonna win. That's kind of the bottom line. If you give up hits to everybody else, there's just this big unknown where Ohtani's going to show up with 2 men on, and what do you know? You have a 3-run game that you might have lost the lead. I know Yamamoto in the last 2 starts have been super nice to have. I mean, it's nice to have Yamamoto on the mound for the Padres, really, because they've been able to hit him. But I'm assuming they're going to have a smart thought process on this, that Yamamoto is probably changing things up because whatever he's been doing hasn't been working. But they have the balls to throw him back out there. So something has changed, and the Padres are going to have to be ready to adjust it. Whether it's a new pitch, whether it's a different location of pitches, whether they're doing different homework on certain players. This rivalry between them has been off the charts fun and exciting. The reporting on it has been dog shit. If you look at Ken Rosenthal, he's been basically attacking the Padres, claiming that the Dodgers are like angels or something. LA fans are throwing beer bottles and baseballs at the team. Like, Ken, shut the And on top of that, just because of his comments in his stupid article, the Padres banned him from even being in their clubhouse. So they had to hire, I think Tom Verducci's actually hired for this game to do the context for the Padres because Ken Rosenthal is not even welcome in there. He called Tatis a peacock. What? But right now it's a toss-up. I'm excited for this game. I cannot wait to turn this on and start watching it. I gotta get this video out to you guys before the game starts. You know, I'm for the Padres because next season, honestly, I think the Dodgers are probably gonna go after Soto. He's already mentioned that he wants to play with Ohtani. Tanner Scott's gonna be available. And just because of the endless pockets of the Dodgers, are probably going to grab him. And there's been multiple articles saying that they are going to target Tanner Scott to help their bullpen. And on top of that, if the Yankees don't win the pennant, Soto is going to want out. And the fact that they were struggling against the Royals and then going to go play probably a much better team, considering the Tigers were mopping the Royals before. I mean, you can't really rely on just Soto and Judge themselves to push the entire team through the games. They've been doing a fantastic job, but they're not scoring a ton of runs. They're not doing insanely well against teams that are hotter than the Royals. And now they've only had to play one series. So I'm just saying, if they don't make it to the World Series, Soto is going to be looking for a new team, and I guarantee you the Dodgers probably are going to pick him up. As for this game, we're going to see. The bats, if they're quiet, it's going to be a pitcher's duel, and we're going to see who does better. I don't know who's pitching for the Padres. I think it's going to be Martin Perez, but don't quote me on that because I wouldn't put Dylan Cease back out there. He's been kind of spotty. The World Series, though, I have the Mets. They knocked out my initial pick, and they're playing as well as any other team. Honestly, they're playing as well as the Phillies I thought would play, so that changes that. And then as far as the American League, I want to see the Tigers. I hope the Tigers make it to the World Series. I think that would be amazing. A no-name team making it all the way, defeating all the big names. That's a Cinderella story, right? But for some reason, I feel like the Yankees are going to pull through because they just always do. They always find a way to muscle their way through and make it to the end, or they get knocked out in some unbelievable game that everybody's like, how? How do you lose to them? Even if I pick the Tigers, I don't think I'm going to get what I want. So I'm just going to say the Yankees will probably win, sadly. Damn. With that said, on the positive side, I say the Mets win it. Honestly, they've earned it. It's been so far a Mets World Series trophy all of October, and I'm okay with it. I mean, if the Tigers make it, I'm excited to see them going, but they are the underdogs, and I like underdogs, so I guess I would root for the Tigers, but I really think the Mets are going to win the World Series at this point because there's no stopping them. They haven't slowed down. They haven't skipped a beat. They've had like 5 innings where they're just like, ooh, is their offense gone? And then they hit a home run oppo after pitch tipping to win it to move on to the next. It's stuff like that. That's what I'm talking about. So there you go. What's your choice? Am I wrong? Tell me why I'm wrong. And no, because your team needs to win is not valid. So let's talk about it in the comments. Subscribe because you're a good person and like the video. Later.